Hey everyone, and welcome back to Smoltzy and Friends. Today's episode comes from something I've been noticing more and more lately as I drive around town. Roundabouts. They're everywhere. It seems like every time a road project starts, another intersection is being converted into a roundabout. Now, before anyone sends me an email telling me all the benefits, let me say this right up front. I understand the intent. The people designing these things aren't trying to make our lives difficult. From what I've read and heard, roundabouts are designed to improve traffic flow, reduce serious accidents, keep vehicles moving, and in some cases cost less than installing and maintaining traffic lights. On paper, it sounds like a great idea. But here's where my curiosity kicks in. Have we reached the point where we're putting roundabouts in places simply because we can? And are people actually using them correctly? I'd love to sit down with the engineer or planner or company that designed these things and ask a few questions. When did someone first look at an intersection and think, we could solve this problem? A giant circle. I believe the original design was in Europe, but I also could be wrong. And now we're adopting this in many places. But I have to admit, some days I wonder if everyone received the same instructional manual. Because based on what I've seen, I don't think they did. I've watched people stop in the middle of a roundabout. I've watched people fail to yield. I've watched people enter too fast. I've watched people drive right over the center area like it was merely a suggestion. And then there was that day that absolutely convinced me we might need some additional training. I watched the driver enter a roundabout and completely miss their exit. No big deal, right? We've all missed a turn before. But instead of taking the next exit and turning around somewhere else, they continued all the way around the roundabout again. Then they went around again. That's right. I watched somebody make a complete circle and then take a second trip around the circle and then a third trip before finally taking one of the exits. At that point, I wasn't sure if they were lost, sightseeing, or just trying to get their money's worth out of the roundabout. I couldn't help but laugh. But it also got me thinking, maybe the concept is solid, but perhaps we need a little more education on how they work. Maybe when you renew your driver's license, there should be a quick refresher course called Roundabouts 101. Because while the theory makes sense, the reality can be pretty entertaining. So the question I have is, do roundabouts work everywhere? I can see locations where they make perfect sense. I can see places where traffic flows much better than it did with a stop sign or a traffic light. But it also makes me wonder if there are locations where our traditional traffic signal might still be the better solution. I honestly don't know. That's why I'd love to hear from you. One of my favorite things about this podcast is hearing different perspectives. Some of you probably love roundabouts. Some of you probably avoid them whenever possible. And some of you are probably laughing because you know exactly which roundabouts in your town creates chaos every single day. So let me ask you, are roundabouts helping traffic? Are we building too many of them? Do they make driving safer, or do they create more confusion than convenience? I'd love for you to send me an email and let me know what you're thinking at smoltzyandfriends@gmail.com. Because there's one thing you know about me. If I see something, I'm going to say something. And that's exactly where today's episode came from. Before we wrap up, here are 3 things to remember about roundabouts. Number 1, Understand the purpose. The goal is to improve traffic flow and reduce serious accidents. Number 2, pay attention. Yield when necessary. Stay alert and don't assume everyone around you knows what they're doing. And third, if you miss your exit, it's okay. Take another trip around the circle if you need to, but hopefully not 2 full laps. Until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this community, and thank you for sharing your thoughts and observations with me. This is Smoltzy saying we'll see you on a future episode.